And we are live. This is Travis Witherspoon from Carter Cow Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the Forex market. I hope everybody's doing very well on this Tuesday evening. Um, if you're familiar with what we end up doing, this is Trade with Travis. This is a evening episode where we end up going through some of the trades that we end up taking throughout the overall session, and also being able to see if there's any other opportunities that we can be able to get into throughout the night session. Last night we ended up taking a trade on last night we ended up taking a trade on US yen. That trade actually ended up going to be a negative trade. So ended up taking one loss on that one earlier today. Really didn't take that many trades, pretty much at all. We talked about that. Talked about that in the morning session where I ended up saying that hey, I wasn't necessarily interested in being able to take many trades because how fast the market ended up ramping up when it came down to its move. Um, Earlier yesterday when we ended up making about 700 points on that one. I didn't want to give up that much profits based off of that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from the education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. Now, understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. Also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you end up making money today. So with that being said, for the people that have been on the streams, y'all do know that pretty much, uh, I want to say for the last week or so, that let's undo that. For the last week or so, the market, I mean, not the market, but the live chat has been somewhat off when it comes down to everything that we end up doing. So please make sure that you end up going to the Discord and being able to sign up for the Discord so you can be able to get live messages so we can be able to see everything that's actually happening. Once you end up getting set up inside of that live area, let's go into the technical stuff area inside of the farm. And then after that, we'll end up talking through some of the things that you are looking for us being able to get in, get out, whatever may be the case when it comes down to being able to trade those overall potential opportunities. First off, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing very well. Type in what type of day that you end up having. Was it a green day, red day, or did you stay away? In my case, mine was moderately green. It was a green day overall, but I felt like there probably could have been a lot more that we could have did when it came down to trading in general when it came for those movements. But um, it was okay there. It was a semi okay there. I guess that's the best way to be able to say it. I'm gonna refresh my screen real quick just to be able to make sure that I can be able to see the people that are on live and being able to go from there. If there's not that many people, then we end up going from there. There we go. What's going on, Steve? I hope everything's going well. Big old green day. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. That's always good to be able to hear. Uh, and being able to place that in. Let's go ahead and get through some of these charts. I want to make this a relatively quick day because I don't think that there's really not much to be able to do tonight. But overall, we ended up saying that there wasn't a lot of news to be able to to be able to pay attention to, and that remained to be the same when it came down to the economic calendar. Really, not much to be able to take a look at for us overall today. Going into tomorrow, we're going to end up having consumer price indexes from the pound, consumer price indexes from the Canadian dollar, and employment change from the Australian dollar and unemployment rate from the Australian dollar. So it will be a fundamental day overall, but it's still a lot more medium news that we have to be able to pay attention to. But will be a couple of people speaking overall that we may end up having to be able to see and kind of pay attention to as well as the market is kind of making its movement and kind of going from there. So I will pay attention to that. I will end up going from there. I'm about to buy me some more physical silver. Hey man, keep on doing your thing. You keep on having green days like that, then absolutely keep on buying as much as you can. I'm gonna take a look at the big three real quick. You're not familiar with the big three. The big three is the United States dollar index. We end up taking a look at gold. We end up taking a look at oil. The reason why we look at those pairs is because it gives us a very good identifier about what's going to end up happening with the market overall when it comes down to those movements. So, um, very simply put, United States dollar index did not move much of anywhere today. Um, Kind of went into consolidation, popped up, popped down, and then after that, did not make that much of a movement. Currently, right now, I end up saying that I was interested in being able to sell the market. I still feel that way when it comes down to this movement. Looking at what ended up happening overall made it very clear that we should be looking at being able to sell. And US yen is, to me, at a point to where I think that it's ready to be able to, it might be ready to be able to drop, even though we didn't necessarily get the best trade overall when it came down to that movement the last time. I still do think that we could possibly be able to make something off of that. So I will take a look at US yen again. I don't mind firing again off of that movement if we can be able to make something off of it. From a daily perspective, market has a true counter trend line break. We end up seeing a movement from here. I think that we're still kind of in that consolidation box, and 13,420 is the area that needs to be able to drop before we truly see that this market is ready to be able to go. But from a daily perspective, I want to see how the market kind of reacts overall. The weekly is in the sell zone, the daily is in the sell zone. 2 hour currently right now is in the no trade zone, but I do like the opportunity of being able to see this thing actually fall. Once it breaks below 13,420, then after that, I think we got a true move that we can be able to pay attention to overall to the downside. Currently, right now, there's not much to be able to do as of yet. But if it does break below that number, then after that, we can see the market fall down to 13,359, and then after that, possibly back down to 13,275 overall. Okay, so there we go with that. Let's take a look at oil real quick. Refresh my screen. Let's see. US oil. So oil, very simply put, we were talking about. We had a breakout of this channel. Once we end up having a breakout of the channel, remember when you end up having a breakout, typically there'll be a retest. From that retest off the daily, the market is moving inside of the buy zone. I end up saying that I was interested in being able to get into this move once the market ended up breaking right around that 82, that 83 area. Market ended up falling down to 83 earlier yesterday, and then after that started to give a little bit of an indecision candlestick. People started to be able to buy it, so that's a good thing that we're looking at it right there. But we still don't have confirmation that the market is truly ready to be able to make a move, and that's the only thing that's kind of put me at a standstill when it comes down to if I'm going to end up making any type of trades at this particular point. If I'm being perfectly honest, but I think that we have something that we can be able to work with overall. Let's see. Currently, the market has not broke above the counter trend line break at this particular point. I would actually like to be a little bit more aggressive off of this one if that does happen, because I would like to be able to get in a little bit more earlier based off of that movement. So I'm going to create a inner trend line based off of that. I'm going to create an inner trend line based off of that. We'll see how the market kind of reacts off of that. But currently, right now, there's really no move yet to be able to get into. But I am interested in being able to sell overall when it comes down to this movement. I've said that. Buy when it comes down to this movement. But just want to be a little bit more patient on how the market's going to end up reacting off of that before being able to do anything. So currently, right now, is there a move to be able to take? The answer right now is no. But at some point in time, it's going to be there. I'm waiting for a counter trend line break to be able to give confirmation. Take a look at gold. What's happening with gold? What happened today with gold? I really didn't pay attention to gold today. Gold is still inside of a consolidation box, so we end up talking about from this 1666 area, the market could have fell down. Looking at being able to take profit at 1615. Currently, right now, because the market is inside of this consolidation overall, there's really no movement to be able to take. If you're looking at being able to make a scalping move to the downside, 1640 would be the area where I would look at being able to sell. If we're looking at being able to buy, it'd be 1671. Until the market actually ends up breaking between one of those positions, there's really no trade to be able to take. I still think that the market has a better chance of being able to pop to the upside now instead of being to the downside when it comes down to overall movement, when it comes down to this pair. Let's get into US yen real quick because I see the market's actually moving. I would like to be able to take a chance on this one again. We're gonna jump right into US yen on this one. I'm actually looking at being able to sell. We talked about this yesterday. Ended up taking a loss on it earlier, but that means that we just got a higher position. when it came down to that movement. So what do we know about US yen? It has been moving to the upside for a fairly long time at this particular point. Let's see, come on. Okay, for a fairly long time at this particular point. Weekly is in the weekly has hit the extension. Daily, when it comes down to this movement, has hit the 382. I mean, only retraced to the 23.6, and then after that went up to the 127, which it started to have a little bit of hesitation up here. We're definitely overbought on the weekly. We're definitely overbought on the daily, which means that we should see opportunity of being able to sell when it comes down to this movement. Now, we take a look at this from a 1 hour perspective. We can start to see that the market had a huge drop off to the downside. The market actually ended up moving. How many pips was that? Market ended up moving about 113 pips over to the downside, and then after that, quickly got ate up when it came down to the bottom. We got in yesterday when the market ended up breaking this counter trend line break right here. Breaking this counter trend line break on this position right here. Market pushed back up in the morning time, fell down again, and then after that started to push back up. So took me out of the trade. I'm pretty sure it took a few people out of the trade when it came down to that. But essentially what that does is that allows us to be able to know that we have another fractal high that we're working off of, in which there goes a fractal high right here. I still believe in being able to take this sale right around this area. My stop loss now, if I'm going to end up placing in, it will probably end up being right around 149.60, which will be just above the overall high of this move. The high was at 149.37, so I'm going to place my stop loss at 149.60. Once again, this will be the second time that I'm going to try this. Overall, if I miss or if we miss or whatever may be the case, I'm not necessarily mad. But I am going with small percentage with the expectation that if this market does fall, then we got into a very good area of being able to ride this move out. Now, with this market being in consolidation and already breaking the counter trend line break, even though it has broke a high, we have to actually readjust everything on this one. Let's see. It's kind of bad because that wick right there makes you it makes you have to respect it based off of that movement. But we've seen that wick. We've seen that wick one time before. You don't feel comfortable being able to take this one. This is where I would end up saying kind of stay away from it at this particular point. But we have too much consolidation. The market's too much in the buy zone. I mean, too much in the sell zone when it comes down to, too much in the sell zone when it comes down to the U.S. yen. And I think the Japanese yen might end up being due for overall movement. Now, keep this in mind. When I end up saying might be overall due, I'm not speculating or just guessing and saying that the market's ready to go. There has to be some type of catalyst that's going to end up coming. That's going to end up giving us a little bit of validity that this market is ready to go. We got national CPI that's going to end up coming out on Thursday from the Japanese yen. Be something to be able to pay attention to. And then obviously we got imports and exports that we want to be able to pay attention to as well. The only thing that I don't like that I ended up seeing a little bit earlier was that they were talking about Hyundai and Toyota having some issues with their manufacturing of their cars. So that might be something that might end up holding the market kind of hostage before being able to make a true move off of this. But US yen took a sale at 149. I got 149.16. Currently the market's at 149.15. Stop loss I got at 149.73. Take profit. Talked about 141.70. 141.70 is the area where I'm looking at being able to get out. Now, once again, if I'm wrong, then I'm fine, but this is a 1 to 14 type of trade. Let's see. I'm going to go through US 30 and NAS real quick. I don't see any messages from people inside of the Discord yet. So I'm going to go with those. And then after that, we'll call it a night. I'm actually kind of tired. I got to get back outside. I'm kind of renovating my garage. So got to get back into doing some more stuff inside of there. So This is what I've seen with US 30. US 30 ended up having a bullish day. It ended up breaking outside of this overall consolidation box that we ended up talking about right around 30,440. Once it ended up breaking out of that overall area, there's a couple positions that I want y'all to be able to pay attention to for us being able to get out. 31,050, 31. Let's see, I know it's 31,050. What is the other one? 31,050 was the take profit that I end up having from this position right here. And then after that, there's another one, which is 31,300, which is the top of the resistance from that move. Currently, right now, if you end up taking that trade this morning, and you didn't trail stop, then you would have got kicked out of that move. The market ended up moving 200 points from the counter trend line break that ended up happening. But from there, it ended up falling 400 points and kind of settled and kind of built out a consolidation box. Because of that, we have a natural support, but I don't think that we have a natural resistance yet. But I do think that the market will start to gravitate towards this overall high, right around 30,860. So the market is moving up. As long as it's moving up, I think 30,860 will be the area where I think that it will probably end up having a little bit of resistance for it being able to move. But overall, that's the area where the market could potentially go and kind of dictate how the market's going to end up moving overall. So I don't like trading in the middle of consolidation. I'm going to stay away and we'll kind of see how the market kind of reacts before being able to do anything else off of that move. Last one, NAS 100. NAS 100, pretty much the same deal. We see a double bottom that end up happening right here. So we truly do have a consolidation support right here. We don't necessarily have a resistance yet. The resistance that ended up happening first was 11,350. Wouldn't surprise me if it does push back up to that area, but if it does fall, then after that, we truly know what's going to end up happening with that movement overall. So that is pretty much on this one. I'm not going to jump into any pair tonight. This is a relatively short session, one, because to be honest, I need to actually lay down. I would like to actually lay down today, but we'll get back into it. I am going to end up talking about in the morning about what we're going to end up doing for us being able to get everybody situated, especially with the elite group when it comes down to the automation systems and possibly being able to practice for us being able to get going into a prop trade system. I'm thinking about being able to join Surge Trader and being able to take my chances on being able to win money based off of prop firms and everything else like that. Be the first time I end up doing it. So for the people that are watching this, if you have any experience on that, definitely love to be able to hear your insights on that. But I think that overall, I'm going to do it with my automation system, and I'm going to end up doing it manually. But just like with anything else, we built out a community of people that I would like for each and every person to be able to win in these situations. So I would like to be able to do it together. You're interested in being able to learn a little bit more about that or be able to trade together when it comes down to the prop firm, please make sure that you end up sending me a private message. We end up talking about how we can be able to get that situated. I hope everybody liked what we end up doing in this session. Please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button. We did get in the US yen when it came down to the trade. That was the only trade that we took today. But like always, trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all in the morning. Everybody, y'all have a good day.